It's not like I don't like work. I have to limit it from 9 to 5 and then I live my life.
It's a difficult line, though, isn't it? Because you're essentially asking people to gamble.
It's
It is a form of
well,
gambling.
Gambling, you would claim, has a skill. There is no skill in lottery. The tech infrastructure we're currently working on was last updated properly in 2009. So that's when BlackBerrys were a thing. That's pre-Instagram, pre-streaming. That's pre-iPads. It's pre a lot of technology.
Yeah.
We don't have CRM at the moment. Can you imagine another business, particularly of our scale, that has no form of doing CRM at the moment? I don't have a work-life balance. I have a blended life. I would always answer the phone to anybody, anytime, any day. And because I'm so happy working, actually, my family have always known me to be working. It's not like I don't like work. I have to limit it from 9 to 5 and then I live my life. I fall in love with my job and then it becomes just my world.
Hello and welcome to another edition of City AM's Boardroom Uncovered with me, Jon Robinson. My guest for this episode is Andria Vidler, the CEO of Allwyn UK, the company that operates the National Lottery. Alwin took over the running of the National Lottery from Camelot, which had operated it since its inception in 1994, in February last year. Before taking up her current job, Vidler worked for the likes of Capital Radio, Bauer Media, EMI Records and the BBC. So after almost 3 decades of Camelot rule, how is the new boss preparing the National Lottery for the future? Without any further delay, let's dive in. Andria, lovely to have you on Boardroom Uncovered. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
I suppose the first question, the only place I can start, is what would you do if you won the lottery?
Oh my word. I can't even play. So there's no point in me even thinking about that.
Well, in an imaginary world where you can.
How much?
180 million.
180 million? That's a very precise number. 180 million. I would do a few things that are passion projects.
Mm-hmm.
I am a real believer. I love swimming.
Okay.
I love swimming. And I'm a believer that every child needs to learn how to swim.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for safety reasons, but for health, mental well-being. I think it's really important. And I don't think enough kids get the chance to learn to swim. So I'd do something with that. That'd be one of the first things I do.
Yeah, okay.
Pay off mortgages,
Yeah.
Basic things like that, 180 million. Then I'd probably get, my husband would say, enough. Now we need to do something sensible. Now we need to organise. And there's a lady who probably should remain anonymous, but there's a lady who won the National Lottery in some of its first few years in Northern Ireland, who has been unbelievably generous. She has spent years since giving back, sharing her and investing. And I think the ripple effect of the National Lottery funding is something everyone can't see, and it's something I really feel passionately about. So I look to her and I think, wow, what a difference you've made to your community.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you look at investment that any of the distributors might have put into a region and you see how it might, let's say it's an infrastructure project. Do you know the North East very well? Do you know Newcastle very well?
Yeah.
Okay, do you? Do you know the Glass House?
I don't.
Oh, okay. So the Glass House was one of the first largest grants made to a region outside of London when the National Lottery first was up and running. So they received a really significant budget and they built a music centre. And the music centre is very true to Newcastle and the North East. And it enables anyone to come in and enjoy music and to learn music and just to involve themselves in music. And actually that has created a massive ripple effect. And they have now calculated over the last 20 years since that they've had it, 681 million has been created around that sort of ecosystem just on what they've done. And that really inspires me. So what I try and do with 180 million, after I'd paid off the mortgages
Yeah.
and after I'd done something in swimming for schools, would be to look at how I could invest and create a further ripple.
So there's no 5-star resorts. There's no yacht
There might be
purchases.
No, there'd definitely not be a yacht.
Not be a yacht.
No, there wouldn't be a yacht.
And what about maybe paying Bezos a few million to get on the space capsule?
No.
Could use some money?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, as a child, if I'd been born in LA or somewhere really hot and sunny, I probably would have done marine biology.
Okay.
Right? Didn't even do biology at O levels, but that really fascinates me. So if I really had no cares in the world, I might go and learn a bit more and spend more time underwater.
Okay. What attracted you to marine biology?
I don't know. Man from Atlantis. I've got no idea. But it was just
50,000 leagues under the sea. Yeah.
Who knows? I like being underwater.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you go in one of those submarines and go down?
No, it's swimming.
Swimming.
Underwater with the fish.
With the fish, that's important. You've got to swim.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not expect this opening question to go this way, but that's fantastic.
That was I.
Obviously, Alwin took over the license for the National Lottery February last year, February 2024. Talk to me about being the custodian of what has become a true national icon and an institution, really.
Treasure. I'd
treasure.
like it to be a national treasure.
Yeah.
It is a huge honour. It's a huge honour and it's a huge task that we are undertaking. The responsibility, actually, is a responsibility that is shared so massively with the whole organisation and with all the distributors. The responsibility is less of a weight, if that makes sense, because the National Lottery, everyone that works at Alwyn, everyone that we inherited from Camelot, everyone I've met that works as a distributor, everyone believes 100% in why it was set up, what John Major did, and the reason for why it's so important going forward. Now, I think there's a generation. I have 2 daughters in their 20s, and until I got this job, they didn't really understand the value of the National Lottery. They didn't understand where the 50 billion went. They didn't really understand what 50 billion really was, because it's such a huge number.
Yeah.
But, £30 million a week we raise currently. In fact, this year we're averaging 35 million. Not sure I should have said that.
Well, you've said it now.
But, our task is to get to 60 million a week.
By when?
By 2034.
Okay.
So that's the path that we've set ourselves.
Yeah.
That's the ambition.
By the end of the license renewal.
And when you think of the amount of projects that people don't know about, that just happen. Okay, so Bend It Like Beckham was a film that the BFI invested in. So National Lottery players created the money that went into Bend It Like Beckham. It was £1 million we invested. That year, domestic box office sales for Bend It Like Beckham, I think, were around 34 million. I might have got that number slightly wrong, but around
thereabouts,
that number.
yeah.
So
also a few million amongst friends.
That's quite a good return on investment.
Yeah.
But that film created a passion for girls to play football. And over the last 30 years, we've invested a further 50 million in girls' sport at grassroots level. And then you look at the Lionesses and you see the Lionesses win the Euros in 2022 and you go, how much value did that create? And I'm sure there are people outside in your newsroom that are covering women's sport this summer. There are broadcasters, there are journalists, there are producers, there are people within our ecosystem and world whose jobs didn't exist before that sector was created, women's sport. So that ripple effect, I think, is awesome. And I am desperate to ensure that more people know about that, because people know about the big Olympics. They know. I think everyone knows that we back the Olympics.
Every 4 years it's mentioned, isn't it?
But
apart from that, it's not really talked about.
Not everyone knew how they are supported. They didn't know that it was their nutritionists, their recreation, their training, how actually the National Lottery funding really supports the team around them, which enables them to not have to do a job.
Yeah.
If you talk to some of the Paralympians, their whole self-confidence has been created because they're doing something with real purpose, which before the National Lottery supported them, they could never have done.
But explain to me how the economics work, because obviously you fill out your form in the newsagents, or you go on the app, which I'm sure most people are doing these days, right? And you pay your £2 and you enter the draw, or you play the other games that you've got available. That money goes where, and how much do you take it in profit, and how much do you give away to good causes and athletes?
So in every lottery pound, the operator takes 1 penny.
Okay.
So not a high percentage. We have costs that go to all the retailers, and there are costs of running the business. So that in total about 8%. Treasury take 12%. It's quite a fair chunk. Prize money is a significant chunk, and about 25p in every pound goes to good causes.
Okay. And has that always been the case, or has that changed when you got the license?
There was a slightly different mechanic in licence 1, 2 and 3, which meant that Camelot could make more money on different products. That's all gone. And now we are completely aligned. So if I can grow good causes, then I help grow profit for us. But there is no way of me taking more profit unless good causes have benefited equally. So it's completely fair. I mean, I think the regulator made some very good changes when it introduced that new structure in the 4th licence.
Yeah. And you say, it is a national treasure. It's 30 years now, just over 30 years that it's been going. It has made a huge difference.
Oh my God, unbelievable.
Over that time. But obviously you've been running it for just over a year now. What has Alwyn done as a licence holder to make a difference that maybe Camelot wasn't doing before?
Oh my goodness, where shall I start? Yes, originally we were meant to take control in February 24. We were meant to be able to have had 2 years to build a new tech infrastructure ahead of taking over.
Why was that needed? Sorry to interrupt. Why was the new tech infrastructure needed? Was it just out of date and not invested in?
Yeah.
Right.
Since 2009.
And that's just to modernise how people are playing the games.
So the tech infrastructure we're currently working on was last updated properly in 2009. So that's when BlackBerries were a thing. That's pre-Instagram, pre-streaming. That's pre-iPads. It's pre a lot of technology.
Yeah.
We don't have CRM at the moment. Can you imagine another business, particularly of our scale, that has no form of doing CRM at the moment? So our shareholder has already invested 400 million. 400 million is a whopping huge amount of money to invest in upfront establishing a completely new tech stack, which will enable us to innovate more quickly. It will enable us to know our players, and for me, that's really, really important. I want to up the amount of known play, because if I know the players, then not only can I really attract responsible growth. So I'm not targeting like VIPs, but I'm trying to ask everyone to play once or twice more, which is important. But I can also understand what games people are really enjoying and what games people play because they like to play 2 games. But I can just know it. And then the third reason why known play is really important is I don't know where you live, and I don't know where you might buy your lottery ticket at the moment, and you might buy it in a retailer, so you're completely anonymous to me. But when I know a little bit more about you, I'll be able to tell you where the money has gone in projects that really interest you. So if you're a real fan of cycling, what are you a fan of?
Rugby union.
Rugby union, okay. So I'd be able to tell you all about our investment into grassroots rugby union. I'd be able to tell you all about the amount of money we've spent in women's rugby union particularly. So I'd be able to tell you about maybe there's a particular stadium that we've helped invest in or a changing room that we've invested in. So when I know what you're interested in, I can give you information, and it might be the area that you live in. So knowing more, which, let's face it, most retailers do now.
Yes, I suppose so.
The more we can catch up with everybody else,
Yeah.
the more we'll be able to improve responsible play and communication, so that I want to be able to engage with everyone like retailers can and like brands can that you love.
Some people can be a little bit anxious, though, about companies collecting data on them.
They don't have to give us data.
No, they can always
But
opt out.
lots of people
Yeah.
will want to.
And I suppose you're trying to sell the fact that you want to give them the information to let them know where that money is going. It's the other side of that deal.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Everybody wants to know more. At the moment, the distributors can't possibly communicate in a coordinated way. There are too many grants. So we need to be, and you wouldn't want to be bombarded with information that you don't want to know about.
Yeah, that's it.
So understanding the players and understanding occasional players. Bringing back people a little bit more regularly is the real ambition.
Okay. And that's how you're going to get to that target.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
mentioned.
last few weeks, we've had an amazing Euro Millions roll. But we have, through better marketing, better media targeting, we have attracted more occasional players back than we have seen in quite a long time. And that enables us to really start to communicate better. And that's what we need to do. Just have everyone playing just once or twice, just a little bit more.
Okay.
It probably will surprise you. I don't know how much research you've done. But we are one of the world's largest lotteries. But we currently rank 64th in terms of how much players spend with us. So we are right, low down. If I could encourage everyone to spend £2 a week more, £3 a week more, or players that play once a year to play 2 or 3 times a year, it's really responsible growth, and it makes a massive difference.
It's a difficult line, though, isn't it? Because you're essentially asking people to gamble.
It's
a form of gambling.
Gambling, you would claim, has a skill. There is no skill in lottery.
I don't know.
Well,
betting on the football.
Football.
There's a
People
skill in
claim
that.
they know who's.
People claim. I think claim is the key
horse
word
racing.
there. People claim
I think
to
it's
know
different.
quite a lot. I think there's a lot of it's chance, though. It's a different
It is-
form,
it is
though.
a
It's
different-
within that
But it's entertainment.
world.
It's entertainment. It's like if you watch TV, watch radio now, you look in the newspaper, they're giving away big prizes. Lots and lots and lots of competitors we have now. It's not like it was in 1994 when it was first launched. There are lots of competitors, lots of ways of winning.
Absolutely. It's time now for some quick-fire questions, Andrea. Are you ready? First up, what was your first job?
I lasted only a couple of months in the kitchen of a restaurant washing up. So I would like to consider my first job. I was on the grocery section of a local spa, and I took real pleasure in polishing the apples and having everything stacked brilliantly and wrapping things in the brown paper bags, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. That was my first initial love of retail. The local spa in Langton Green.
Fantastic. Who inspires you?
Oh, there are lots of people. Lots of people in all walks of life. But if I had to say who has inspired me a lot, I think the Queen was an amazing female role model for us all for years in the UK. I think she saw so much change. She saw huge challenges, and she gracefully manoeuvred all the way through. I think she's a fantastic role model.
If you had to have a celebrity on your board, who would it be and why?
If I wanted, I have got Lord Seb Coe, who's not really a celebrity, but he's well known.
Yeah. Famous. Yeah.
I would say I would love, I'm struggling between two people. I would really love Gareth Southgate for his experience in culture change and how he learnt from mistakes of his own and brought them into and really helped change a team. And I'd really like Emma Thompson for her wit and humour for when things are getting serious and we need someone to just cut through.
She'd have good stories as well.
Yeah.
That would make the boards more interesting, definitely. What's the best thing about your job?
I think, when you're enabling people to win, whether it's £10 or £100 or £10,000 or $1 million, everyone loves winning. So that's a pretty good feeling. But I think what caps it is meeting people that have really benefited.
Fantastic. And if you weren't doing this job, what would you be doing? What's your dream job?
Well, this is my dream job.
Of course, apart from this.
I did love music.
Okay.
I loved working with the artists and enabling, new artists like Tiny Temper and Emily Sandé launch their careers, and then also work with Duran Duran and Blur and help them reignite things. So music was great because it was consumer, a new challenge all the time, and new technology changing the way consumers reacted and engaged. So that sort of combined everything I'm doing now, but in a different way.
Fantastic. And if you were Prime Minister for the day, move over Keir Starmer, what would you do?
Okay, so a day, I count that as 24 hours.
Yep.
Okay, so if it's 24 hours, I'm going to do two things. And the first one would be my passion project about kids swimming.
Yep.
And I'd make sure that every child at school had an opportunity to learn how to swim. And the second thing I do, professional, would be the 12% tax that Treasury gets from the National Lottery. Mm-hmm. I would ensure it's ring-fenced and it's communicated. So every year the government say where that money is going to. So it's not just the money that goes to good causes that I will take responsibility for communicating, but they recognise the 12% they get and they communicate how that. So as a player, you know where all your money has gone.
Talking of the Treasury, apart from that, obviously, if they introduce that after your lobbying, is there anything else that the Treasury and the government at large could do to help support a company like yours?
I think international investment is something that the government are keen to attract. And we have an international shareholder who has really backed us. I think that the government are fully behind growth. So at the moment, we're really well aligned, if I'm honest. At the moment, I'm very, very happy with the way the government are talking about growth and international investment. So just keep doing as you're doing.
You're pleased with everything that's happened since Labour took power?
Yeah. I mean...
There was a little note of hesitation there.
Yes. Professionally,
yes. Okay. I wonder if we'll get anything more out of you later about that. Let's talk about EMI.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm going to switch because you just alluded to in the quickfire questions. You've had a varied career.
I have indeed.
Tell me about what you were up to at EMI before you took this job.
So EMI actually wasn't immediately before this job. So EMI, I worked as part of the team that was under terra firma. And our job was modernising EMI. EMI was another national treasure that had been, for one reason or another, allowed to stagnate. And it wasn't on the front foot. I came in with a brand, marketing, music, understanding, but I didn't join the organisation with the traditional music label responsibilities and prejudice. So that's always a great place to start because you can challenge the norm. And I was determined to ensure that we created an environment for each artist that was enabling them to reach their greatest potential. It wasn't one size fits all. It was a different plan for Tiny Temper, who was really into branding, to Emily Sandé, who just wanted to create brilliant songs, and we persuaded her to perform as well. But, you know, the difference between Swedish House Mafia and Bastille, everyone was different, and you needed to really understand the band to get the right deal. That at the time was quite unusual. I brought in prioritisation again, not something that's radical, but something that worked instead of signing 10 artists, we signed 5. Because if I could get 4 artists successfully over the line, that would be a greater success rate.
Who's the best artist that you worked with?
Oh, I can't. That's like choosing your favourite child. That is just unforgivable. You can never ask that as a journalist.
I can ask him whatever I want. It's my show. Name's on the door. If you're in the car and you've got a couple of CDs of people you used to work with, who you're more likely to put on than others?
Coldplay's always fantastic for me, particularly if you're driving and you want something that brings back great memories. I am and always will be a great Bowie fan. So it does depend on your mood. I mean, I think Katy Perry, who is not necessarily what everyone would anticipate me asking, Katy Perry was a fantastic role model. She was a really strong woman. She was going through all sorts of difficulties with her marriage at the time she did a world tour with us. And her strength and her performance as a leader, I will always remember, particularly when I hear Firework, because the lyrics that are in that track are very pertinent to how she was feeling at the time. So that's what I do. I think much more about the lyrics and what those artists were going through than I probably ever did before my life at EMI.
Do you look at these high performers, these successful people in each field that you come across, and take aspects of their leadership styles, maybe the way that they act,
I'll copy and paste.
Copy and paste.
Yeah,
that's it. Do you do that?
Yeah, of course. Don't you?
Well,
already?
certainly through doing these interviews, definitely, is you meet so many different people, and they're trying to tackle basically the same problem, to grow a particular business in whatever industry that is, and they're going about it in so radically different ways sometimes, which is really interesting.
I think you can learn a lot from everyone. You know, going to a conference, listening in the canteen to other people, the way they may have heard something, the way they saw a TV program and their interpretation of it. I try and keep my ears open all the time because, I am probably one of those people with huge imposter syndrome. I'm very happy to admit I can learn from everyone.
Is that something that you've dealt with for a few years, having imposter syndrome? Is that a relatively new thing, or is that... No,
I think probably ever since I graduated, I went out with somebody who was absolutely blue chip and, flying and management consultant. And I used to think, well, I think I'm probably just as good as you, but I didn't put the work in to get the exam results. So at that point, I was determined to prove I could hold my own.
Yeah. And you clearly have, you've climbed the greasy pole and you've reached the top. Looking back over your career to date, do you consider yourself successful?
No, of course not.
Because some people say yes to that question.
Do they?
Yeah.
I consider some of the businesses I have worked in and the transformations I have done, I consider them a success. I look at some of the people that I recruited and how they've grown and blossomed, and I consider that successful. So my acts I might consider successful, but I don't think I've ever thought of myself as successful.
No, you wouldn't describe yourself as egotistical or...
No, I'm very happy, actually, not always being front of stage, letting other people be front of stage. As long as the right decisions get made, as long as the right actions are delivered, actions speak louder than words.
And is that reflected in your leadership style?
I hate this question. I really hate this question.
How come?
Because I do really believe that I try and create an environment where everyone can reach their best potential. Because if everyone is performing at their best, then the organisation should be performing at their best. And in order to do that, you need to be really good at communication. So that's everything I try and do. But whenever it comes to 360s, you also get the truth. And the truth is always, yes, I might be focused, but I am relentlessly energetic, and some people find that a bit exhausting. And I haven't been able to escape that.
Right.
And then there's a word that I never liked, because I'd love to be thought of as innovative all the time and all the rest of it, but actually it's resilient. And I think that is because I've taken on a number of challenging changes and modernizations, and they always take time. They're never a quick fix. The tech stack modernization is not the completion of modernizing the National Lottery.
No.
There are so many other things to do. I want us to be an engaged brand that you think of as an entertainment brand, not as a national lottery. I want, in 5 years' time for you to think of us up there without questioning it. So we've got a lot of work to do. I've got a lot of work to do with changing the culture, changing the skill sets, evolving people's skill sets. We were just talking about your newsroom and how it used to be a newspaper and now you have a quarterly magazine and it's all on digital. That takes patience and time for the leadership team to help people learn and not be scared. And that's what I've learned in the number of transformations. EMI was exactly the same. Magic was exactly the same. You have to help people and show them and let people know they can fail at times. Now, you don't want them to fail on anything that is critical, Indeed. But you need to be able to enable that culture to feed itself gradually and not accelerate too quickly.
That takes a lot of bravery, though, doesn't it? I suppose you've got to take the tough decisions, and I suppose it's easy to come to work and go, oh, you know what, I'll take the path of least resistance here and we'll get it done, but it might take a little bit longer. But it seems to me that you're somebody that wants to cut through that and drive that transformation as quickly as possible.
Yes. Someone said to me once, you're not very good at status quo management. I don't do tinkering.
No, you don't do 2% growth each year, do you?
No.
Talk to me about work-life balance. I'd imagine your job is all-consuming. Is it difficult to strike that work-life balance sometimes?
I'm going to have to answer that question in a different way. I do recognise I have been one of the luckiest people. I do think of the jobs I've had as the best jobs in the world. I mean, every job I've had, I thought, it can't get better. So I recognise that is an unusually privileged position. But as a result, because I love it, I don't have a work-life balance. I have a blended life, right? I love music. I would always answer the phone to anybody, anytime, any day. And because I'm so happy working, actually, my family have always known me to be working. It's not like I don't like work. I have to limit it from 9 to 5, and then I live my life. My life, even though it's been very corporate, has been completely blended. At the BBC, at Capital Radio, at EMI, at Centaur, I fall in love with my job. And then it becomes just my world. And I find a way. Someone said to me the other day, so it's not milk plus a banana, it's a banana milkshake. And,
I've not heard that before. That's
there
good.
you go.
Yeah. If you go back to, that when we're just coming out of university, maybe developing imposter syndrome for the first time, is there a bit of advice that you'd give your younger self at that point? If you could go back and talk to her right now, what would you say?
Well, the advice I gave my daughters was get better exam results than I did, as they will often repeat to me.
Yes.
I think I've done lots of jobs and I never knew where I was going to go next. It hasn't been planned at all. So I think doing things you love enables you to perform well. And you do have to work hard, I think. I think working hard does create better luck. So if you work hard, don't feel guilty about working hard and find something that you really enjoy so that you can work hard and you don't feel guilty about it. And it's a virtuous circle then.
Final question, and I always like asking this.
Oh, God.
What does it take, in your opinion, to be a good CEO?
Circumstances are always so different. I think listening, people, communication, managing great talent around you, getting great talent in. I've only ever worked, though, so the reason I hesitated was I've only ever worked in creatively led, people-led businesses. So I can't talk for a manufacturing company. I can't really I can only talk about the businesses I've worked in, which are all very, very people-led. And for that, it's all about leading them well.
Fantastic. Andria, thank you so much for coming on Boardroom Uncovered.
Thank you.